Hello yet again and welcome back to Compositing with Beyond Typicals. It's episode 7, and in this episode we are going to focus on shared use path composites within Beyond Typicals and kind of show you some of the tips and tricks that you can use so that you can visualize those projects. And Beyond Typicals is really exciting because in the past a smaller project that might be focused on pedestrians and cyclists may not have the budget to afford visualization. But now with Beyond Typicals, you can not only do visuals, but you can also do these blended photo composites as well, very quickly, very affordably. You can learn more about this product at beyondcad.com/beyondtypicals, or just go to beyondtypicals.com. So in this first example, this is a very simple type project. There's not a lot going on here, again, which just shows how versatile Beyond Typicals can be for you. So let me just move this section out of the way to show you. This is just a park and just a simple path. And then when we bring this back over, again, go to render, look at our cameras, go to preset 3, and you can see what I'm doing here. Not only am I showing an improvement, but I'm showing some underground elements as well. And this is just up to you. This is an aesthetic choice that you can make. And I could have just as easily pulled it forward like this, and it would have worked. But I wanted to show that you can do some underground elements in this head-on camera type scenario. And so we have our pipe under here, and then these panels, they just look like panels on the side, but what they are is they're sections. You can see it's a median, and then I just went into texturing and then turned the top transparent. You can see if it was there, then you could see it, but we turn it transparent, and then that's just a trick that you can use to help blend it in this way that you're trying to show the entire cut section, including the areas that aren't being worked on in this project. All right, there's also 2 lanes in each direction, and this is so that we can get a better variety of pedestrians and cyclists. You can see here we have some twins. That sometimes happens. Sometimes when you're doing your rendering, you just have to kind of avoid that. There's not much you can do other than sometimes be patient. But you can see here for each of these lanes, they have a different primary or secondary asset. So this one has jogging pedestrians, this one has cyclists, and then within that you can go to traffic and you can set the volume that you want. So if you wanted a ton of cyclists, you just crank that up, and then it might take a minute, but you're going to get a ton of cyclists. So with the pedestrians or even vehicles, I found you just want to make the project look as good as possible without it being distracting. Sometimes you'll want to show a lot of traffic or very little traffic, but the goal usually is just to get the right balance of traffic. Usually it's going to be pretty low, like maybe 2 or 3, and that's going to be fine. And then over here we have a cycle lane and a jogger lane, and you could mix those up. You could grab this section and pull it over here to the left, but you can configure it however you want to show your project. So very simple, but this is how the final render turned out. All right, in this example, we're using a drone photo, and I'm showing here the final configuration. But if we go to photo compositing and we push these to the back, both the foreground and the background, you can see, to the front, then you can see what the image looks like. Very rural road. You can see we have kind of an ATV path next to it. It probably was never designed that way. It's just been developed over time from the rural traffic. And so in this scenario, we're proposing that this is going to be cleaned up and we're going to have an actual paved shared use path. And so let's move those back to the back. Actually, we want the foreground in the front and we want the background in the back. And you can see here we did that so that this pole over here up in the top right, it could blend in this foreground scenario. And you can see here our path is very simple. We have the green painted, we have 2 lanes in each direction again, and then we have these pavement markers. And we've strategically placed the pavement markers so that they can show up in these composite views. And that's something very common and something you want to be aware of, because sometimes you might place them somewhere and then they can't even be seen. And so we put them right up here in the middle, but you could also have just as easily moved them backwards or wherever you want to communicate those elements in your project. And when you have a longer section like this, you're also going to want to kind of have more traffic. So you'll see here we have 4 versus the 2 that we had in the first example. And so these are just artistic touches that you have to just kind of dial in until you get the right look and feel. There really is not going to be one set answer. It's going to depend on your project, how much traffic or pedestrians you want to show. And then once we had this all set up, then we rendered it out, and this is what the final render looked like. All right, so I believe this was the fastest composite I've ever done. This took less than 10 minutes. And a big reason why is just because it doesn't really interact with the roadway at all or the earth. It's just a bridge going over, and we don't even have to show the abutments or where it's tying in, because those aren't part of what you see in this image. And so that's just kind of a trick that you can use if you maybe this project would have abutments as per the design, but Beyond Typicals might not be able to show that. You can show abutments, but if you don't need to show that, you can do something very quickly like this. And then you can see here that we just have simple bridge section elements, and to get those you can go to sections and you go to bridge and you can build these out. And actually, as a reminder, this is an early version of Beyond Typicals 3, so this may be different when you see it, but there is a page bridge example project that was used for this photo composite. So feel free to use any of these example projects as kind of a starter to more quickly and efficiently get to your final design. So once we got that bridge, then we could just go ahead and set up our camera. Shadows are going to be tricky in this one. If you wanted to be as thorough as possible, you could set up some shadows underneath in Photoshop, just kind of make something go in there. The shadow of the 3D element's not going to be able to cast a shadow on the image, but overall this is pretty simple. And then one thing that you could do here is you could show different fence scenarios very easily in these different composites. All right, so this one was very quick, and this is how the final render turned out. All right, the story of this project is this is Mission Beach in San Diego, California, and I took my family on a vacation here last summer, and I was really surprised by how busy the boardwalk had gotten since the last time I was there, which was, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years before that. And one of the biggest elements of why it had changed was because there are just now so many more e-bikes and e-scooters. And so I wanted to kind of take this as an example to show how let's make this a little bit safer, because I had all my kids and we had these e-bikes whizzing past at higher speeds and higher mass than what we would have had in the past. And so I took this image and did some design consulting with our own Brian Schroff and came up with this design. And this is truly one of my favorite compositings that I've done, because it just blends in so well. And a big reason why is because we do have this foreground element right here, and you can see when we bring it in, it just tucks that whole road in so much better. And even the bottom of these tires, these bike tires, they kind of blend in under the bushes as well. And so when you do this, once you get the shadows matched and that blending, it can really sell this image. If you looked at this long enough or made a long enough video, you may be confused as to why the waves aren't moving or the people aren't moving. But in a short 10-second clip, this is just going to really sell whatever project you're trying to do. And as a reminder, these images will look darker in Beyond Typicals than they will in the final render. So let me just turn off that foreground image again to show what we have here for our lanes. So we have bike in each direction, and these ones we have primary and secondary assets turned on, and we have cyclists and scooters. And when you do that, they're going to kind of follow each other and alternate randomly. And you can set the speed on those as well, and then you can select which ones. If you only want more cruiser types bikes or more helmeted bike, you can turn those on or off, just like that. And then in these ones we have joggers in one lane and walking pedestrians in the other lane, just again for a better, more realistic blend. And then if we go back to our camera, preset 3, you'll see here we also have these pavement markings in a way where you can see them, even though if you were actually at this spot when the project's actually built, those pavement markings might not be there. But again, we're trying to communicate that these are bike lanes, that there will be pavement markings, and then we want to do it in conjunction with our overhead labels, and these are the auto labels. And just as a note on how you get these markings, with these bike lanes that you drop in, you're going to have some options. And so I use bike lane. You could do something else. But when you do it, you can use this marking spacing, and you're going to see how that moves forward or backward. And that 0.45, that's just kind of a percentage. So if it was at 0, it's going to be at the far end. If it was at 100, it's going to be at the near end. And so you can just move it to get it to the right location. And then the same thing in the other one so that they match. And this is how the final render turned out on this project. All right, in this final shared use example, this is from a photo taken when I was in Boston last year. And I didn't really notice these people over here on this bench eating their lunch until later, but hopefully that's not too distracting. If I were to do this again, I would probably remove them using Magic Eraser or some way try to block them, because not only is it distracting, but it also, there's this forced perspective element where these pedestrians look very small and these people look like giants here on the bench. I'll stop the next cyclist or jogger that comes by to kind of show you that. And these are the things you need to be mindful of, both when taking the picture and when editing the picture, is what's going to show up, what's going to be distracting, and how that's going to affect the perception of your project. I mean, I've been in visualization for a long time, and before I tell the story, just notice here, this guy, he looks like he's about 4 feet tall in comparison to them. And so we could probably fix that if we adjusted our camera matching, but this was just kind of a sloppy match on my part. But in my years of visualization, I've noticed that there are little things that we would never think about that the engineer or the public might think about much more. I mean, for example, like we might just put in a nice median like this on a busy commercial arterial, but that's going to be a problem because it's going to limit access to the businesses along that corridor, and we're not thinking that way. We're just thinking of making a pretty picture. Or like another scenario, one time I put a police car just because I was trying to get more variety of vehicles, and I just put it in there, and then someone's like, "Why'd you put a police car? It looks like it's a speed trap and someone's trying to pull someone over." And after thinking of it, I was like, "Oh, duh." But just, we got to think about, not only is this an accurate representation of the design that we're moving forward, but also is this visualization done in a way that is as distracting as little, so that they're focused on the project and they're excited about what this project's going to be, and they're not like, why are these giants over here sitting on this bench eating lunch? So this is how that one turned out. Even in spite of its weaknesses, it was still a pretty cool project. We have our pavement markings down here at the bottom. And then one other note about this is I did use, again, these trees up above to cast shadows, because you can see here this entire photo is blanketed in the shadows of the trees. And so in the final render, we're going to end up with somewhat accurate looking tree shadows, even though the trees in the image aren't moving. Something like this is probably going to do a pretty good job of selling the fact that we're in a park, we're under trees, and the trees are moving and swaying in the wind like they normally would. So as a reminder, these projects are available via a link in the YouTube video description. So I invite you, if you're a Beyond Typicals user, to go and download them, these BTIP files, and test them out yourself. And make sure to visit beyondtypicals.com to learn more about this product and how it can transform your transportation design projects in minutes. And I will talk to you in the next one.